Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Spiritual Wake Up Call. I'm your host, Marilyn Tennant. Today we have a really interesting topic. We're talking about the reproductions that artificial intelligence is creating from samples taken from other artists online, pixels grabbed here and there to create a selfie or any kind of image. There's some apps that you may have seen an uproar of your friends getting their selfie AI art, quote unquote art. And we're going to talk about what is actually going on. And before we get into it, I just want to make note of a few definitions here. Copyright infringement is the use of works protected by copyright without permission for a usage where such permission is required, thereby infringing certain exclusive rights granted to the copyright holder, such as the right to reproduce, distribute, display, or perform the protected work, or to make derivative works. So I remember in photography school, they brought about a example of a person that took blatant images that were blatantly, obviously copies of the Wile E. Coyote and the Road Runner doing inappropriate things. And it was meant to be funny, but the person actually distributed it, reproduced the works without any licenses to make it legal from the original copyright owners. And they did sue, and he had to pay hefty fines. So I think that's the thing, is when we see people taking others, or now in this case, when we see machines taking other people's work and even distorting it a little bit, that if it's still from the other people's work, then that is a tort, that is illegal, and they should be sued for it. The question is, the gray area is, well, what about people that just copy ideas? Like if you get inspiration from somebody and you try to do like a certain technique or restate an idea, is that copyright? It has to be blatant. That was the lesson in that class, I remember. It obviously looks like it's definitely the same thing and a copy. We remember the song Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice was a blatant copy of David Bowie's Under Pressure. And David Bowie did win that case because it was a blatant copy. And I just wanted to make note of that. And also, before we get into it, I want to talk about what DJs do, because this is a little similar what's going on. There is this, you might have heard DJs use samples. Well, those DJs have to have two different licensing permissions before they can do that. The master recording license and the underlying composition. So they have to get permission to legally distribute it. And the hard line is when they're making money off of it. So like we can do a cover. A lot of people have asked me, well, what about doing covers? Well, when you do a cover, in your house, it doesn't really matter. But if you're doing it to make money, like if you're going to make a cover album, then you have to pay licenses for that. Or if you're even playing covers at bars, restaurants, wherever, that bar has to pay a licensing fee to the record labels. And that's something that is just a fact of life. Everybody has to either create their own original work or give credit and payment to those that did. They can't just take it from those that have created their original work. And the copywritten is when it's created. It is when it's at all recorded. You don't have to get a specific official copyrighted notary, like put in the Library of Congress or wherever people go to get that. All you have to do is record a song and it's copywritten. That's how the Carter family got all their songs, because they took a lot of folk music and they were the first country music band to be recorded, and they, voila, had by law copywritten those songs. So it has to be recorded. It has to be something that you actually create, either on paper, on tape, on digital format, whatever it is. It's created, then you are the copyright owner if it's something that is your own original work. So I wanted to clear that up, and keep those things in mind as we go into this conversation. I'm talking with my kids, and Levi is an artist, and Asher is a technical, not an expert yet, but he will be. He's very interested in technology and where it's headed in robotics, and he has a lot of funny things to add. So it's just a really good conversation with my kids. So I hope you enjoy. Be prepared to open your hearts, open your minds, and see what's inside. Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning into Spiritual Wake Up Call. Today we have a special guest. His name is Levi. He's my son. And how old are you, Levi?
I'm 12, going on 13, and actually, I've been on here before.
And he has been on here before.
Yeah.
Which was inspired by the movie Come On, Come On, where Joaquin Phoenix had a bunch of kids he interviewed, and I said, that's actually a good idea. What? But you haven't seen it. It's not really for kids, but it inspired me to like...
You showed me that movie the other day that wasn't for kids.
Okay, well, that I didn't show you. You walked in on, and I said, well, it's not terrible, and actually there's a lot of cuss words on it. But
like, a lot of cuss words? That's an understatement. There's like the F word in every single scene.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I don't hear that every day in school, but whatever.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Like, I hear those kids coming out when I pick you up, and they...
Yeah.
It's like it's just like F-bombs here and there, and...
Yeah.
Levi goes to junior high. He's in 7th grade.
Hi.
And he has a lot of intelligent things to say. And today we're going to be talking about this new phenomenon known as AI art. And
she used quotation marks with her fingers.
I used quotation marks.
You can't see it.
Because I don't think it's art. I think it's stealing.
Yeah.
And we really need to talk about this and go over some things, because I don't think a lot of people realize what's happening. Not only is it stealing from other artists, but I think there's a much more nefarious problem happening in that it's conditioning. And I've spoken about this in the past on other podcasts about conditioning us to basically lose our souls slowly. And art is basically your soul put in different formats, whether it's a painting, a drawing, music, like a drawing or 2-dimensional type art, or even three, like a sculpture is always decorating space, and music is art that decorates time. And those things are really the indication of a soulful society. And if we have that scraped upon and picked up from robots and spit back out in a super cheap way, then it's like taking society's soul away. What do you say?
Yeah, I say that, like, I remember I said earlier, like, if you take away, like, a civilization's, like, art, that's part of their culture, like, you're taking away a lot, and it's kind of sad for me to see what that's come to now.
Right, and it's just beginning, so we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how this is going to pan out, but I'm really hoping for a class action lawsuit, because what they're actually doing, when I say they, I'm talking about, well, there's different apps. There's Lensa app, which is this new... You've just seen a big uproar on social media with people posting their selfies of art generated by these AI models. And so what you do is you pay $7.99 and you upload 10 images to the app. And the app uses an AI model that poses and creates these scenes with your face on it that's plucked from other art styles and basically other random pixels grabbed from other websites. So if you're an artist, it could be grabbing your pixels from your images that you created with your own blood, sweat, tears, and dedication that you put in many years of training for. And it could be taking that from you and you won't even know it. And I did a little research before coming on here, and I saw there was even some people's watermarks and signatures like scrambled in some of these images, which just proves that it's stealing. And
That's sad that that's what we've come to.
yeah. So Levi, you're an artist.
Sort of, yeah.
You're 100% an artist. You're not a working artist yet, but
Yeah.
he's very talented. Like ever since he was 2, as soon as he could pick up a pencil, he was drawing. Never quite interested in music, which that's what my main medium is music, but he just always was interested in art. And anybody that sees his work can tell that he is going to be a very bright, if not already, he's already a very bright and wonderful artist. But I just every day he progresses in his talent and his craft, and I really want to see that come alive. I want to preserve that special, just that special craft.
Yeah. Most of that like everyday stuff is like on the back of homework and assignments at school. But don't tell my teachers that I said that.
Okay. And so, what would you do, Levi? What do you think about robots taking like possible images, pieces of your images, and using it to make other art?
Well, I mean, I don't really consider that art. Like, I mean, at first when you hear like the robots are making art now, yay! And some people say that, and then like, at first I think like, okay, that's sort of cool. I mean, I guess it's art, but then when you told me that, I didn't even know that up until now. I don't think it's art anymore. Like, that's just taking other people's art. Especially the part about like you take people's like watermarks and signature, like that should be illegal, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, and it really should. There is a class action lawsuit right now for AI. It's with GitHub Copilot. This program is a software that has AI and takes code from other software. And that is currently underway as a class action lawsuit. And I'm really hoping that they win and that they have to pay hefty fines, because that will actually help protect artists and pave the way of this sick new technology that's just I can't say things without, because I have my son, I can't cuss as much as I would be,
Right.
but
Yeah, I don't care
it's adulterizing and bastardizing the art that somebody else created, and it's just disgusting. It's disgusting to me.
I don't really know what those words mean, so I don't care.
Good, don't use them.
Yeah. I mean, I know what adultery is, but it's probably something different.
Well, it's the same thing. You're taking something that's not yours, and it's just another way of stealing in an even dirtier way.
Right.
And some people have some arguments that, I spoke with another artist today about it, and it got heated. It got a little heated because this artist, I'm not going to name any names, but it's somebody who actually, they have used the AI models and software, and they said they use it for references, but they're not too impressed because there are some glitches. It's not 100% perfect, and it's kind of funny if you like Google Lensa mishaps, or what did we see? Lensa mess ups.
Like they kept making like
fails.
Their eyebrows like not the same.
Like one eye,
and they were like
completely different than the other, and just looking funny. Some of them were just really awkward.
Yeah.
And that's just, you're dealing with, computer. You're dealing with something non-human, so there's going to be glitches.
Yeah.
And even in real art, when there's mishaps and you make a mistake, it actually turns into something beautiful.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just honestly, I just crumple the paper and throw it away, but I don't know. Like that, you can turn it, you can take your mistakes and fix them and turn them into something better.
Isn't
Like,
that
that's
the
happened.
beautiful part of being a human?
Yep. And I don't think Lenza can do that if they make a mistake.
Well, the programmers can go in and try to fix it, but they're not actually doing
Yeah.
art. It's just some evil craft. So I don't know if you realize that, but they are stealing. And Aristotle stated, the aim of art is to present not the outward appearance of things, but their inner significance. For this, not the external manner and detail constitutes true reality. And that's exactly what this AI art isn't doing. It's not showing people's inner essence like a self-portrait or a portrait that a professional would do, or even like somebody that's not a professional yet, like Levi. They have the ability to see their inner essence. With this, what Lens is doing is they're taking these AI, there's these bots, these AI models that pose, and then they're coloring it in and putting these expressions that they deemed, oh, this looks like soul. I'm going to mimic the humans because this is such a very expressive form on their face. So let's slap that on the bot, and then color it in with some pixels that we stole from this guy's website. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I can't emphasize that enough. So, what do you think art is, Levi? What is art?
I mean, I'm not gonna be like, probably my explanation. I mean, I kind of have one, but my explanation isn't gonna be like as professional as that. I forgot what his name is.
Aristotle.
Aristotle or
Yeah.
something. That's kind of a stupid name. It's kind of stupid.
That's a very famous
Kind of a
Greek
silly
philosopher
name.
that was very wise.
Okay, yeah, but it's not gonna be as long as that. But I just think art is anything that you like. When you want to express yourself, then it's anything that you can express yourself. Like art can be anything that like you can't really do it. Like there's no wrong way to do it. I mean, there can be sort of, but like I don't know. It's just different than that. Like
Right.
like a lot of things that you wouldn't think is art is actually art. Like I don't know. I don't really have any examples, but like it's not just limited to like music and photography and painting and whatever. Like pretty much anyone can be an artist if they want to.
You're so right, Levi. It can't be wrong. It cannot be wrong.
Actually, I can think of something that can't be an artist, and that's robot.
And that's the only way art can be wrong, because
Yeah.
the AI fails. They're kind of funny
Yeah.
to see, and then
Also, you can just laugh at them.
the whole thing is wrong because it's stealing. I mean, art would be wrong if like I went to somebody's website and copy and pasted, their picture.
Yeah, like
and
that.
Said, this is mine. That's wrong.
That's not art. It's somebody else's art. It's not your art.
Right. That's stealing, which is exactly what this is doing. It's not just stealing from one person, it's stealing from millions of people. And so how this works is Lensa through Prisma Labs deletes they take the photos and then they say, oh, it's okay because we delete it from the cloud. We delete after you upload your photos, we delete all those. But do you know it is actually training the AI models with every photo that you upload. So if you're uploading the photos, it's pretty much like giving your DNA.
Yeah, that's what makes it AI. AI is not just like follows a certain program, like it's a little wheel thing that goes like just across the table. It's different. These things learn. It's artificial intelligence. That's literally what AI stands for. Like it's not real intelligence. I mean, but it's not like they're dumb. Like I remember you said earlier. Like
human.
Oh yeah, humans. Like you said, they used to be the smartest beings on this plane or something like that.
On this planet.
Yeah, and that we were so smart that we created something that was even smarter than us, and now we're not the smartest things ever anymore because the AI is smarter than us. The AI can do complex calculations in like milliseconds. Stuff that my math test. If I had an AI that could do my math test for me, then I would get A on every single math test in like 3 seconds. I would love that, but it would be cheating, and I don't like cheating.
I know, and then what's the point?
Yeah, and I would be stupid.
What's the point in living if we let the robots do it all for us?
I mean, that's what I think. If we don't change soon, that's what we're heading for. We're just gonna like be sitting in our little space capsule pods and watching TV and drinking space soda, while the robots like clean our bodies and dress us for the morning and do all the hard work. But like, really, if that's what our lives come to, then the robots, they're not gonna have much to do, because like there's the robots that build the space capsules, then there's the robot that makes the TV, and then there's the robot that makes the space soda, and that's it.
Right. And that's why I'm so fired up. Like, the artist that I was speaking to earlier said, "You're overreacting about this." And I said, "You're gaslighting me." And it got really heated.
Now I know who you're talking about.
And just I understand using it as a reference point, but by cooperating with these AI models, you're training them.
Yep.
You're training them how to steal art from other non-consensual artists better. And then you're contributing to an atmosphere of where our soulful art is stolen and just cheapened. And, you can argue, well, like, think of what happened with the camera obscura. Do you know what the camera obscura is? The first camera.
No,
it was pretty much like equivalent to like a light would shine and like project the image that was in front of you, and then the artist would trace it. And that was the first step in photography. And so photography came under very similar fire under portrait artists, because do you know back in like the 1600s, to be a portrait artist, you actually could make a good living.
Yep.
Like, there would be wealthy families that would hire you because they wanted their portrait done and painted, and that was actually a very prestigious occupation to have, is to be a portrait artist.
Nowadays, like, you probably can't make any money off that. Like,
you can. You can.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who wants to portrait done, but okay.
Well, we'll have to go through, and I'll show you some people that are very successful portrait artists.
Okay. I don't know anybody.
You got to work hard still, just like anything, but it's definitely possible.
It's probably more difficult.
It's difficult because everybody's going to tell you that you can't do it because it's not as valued in society as...
Oh, but that's probably taking away from those people's jobs, right? The robot artists.
So, like, yeah, these AI it's kind of doing what photography did to the portrait artists. So the portrait artists were just as fired up about photography taking over, which, they had, and I'm a photographer, like, I went to school, but we still had the difference between that and this. We still had to take art classes. We still had to know about composition. We still had to know about lighting and shadows, and we needed to know about a lot. It was more of a craft.
Yeah, it was still an art. Yeah.
It could definitely be an art, but it was more of a craft. I would say, like, photography is more technical, as in scientific. Like, there's a lot more light science going on, and you're really playing with light coming at you. So it definitely could be an art. There's fine art photography, and it's beautiful, and it's 100% an art. And that just gave way, but you still were putting a human element to it. It was still being crafted by a human that had a soul, that had an intention, that was divinely guided by wherever we are divinely guided from to make art. And, there's different varying degrees of photographers that do this, because, you could go to like Sears Portrait Studio, and is what they're doing art? I think in a way. It's maybe what they're doing is art depending on who receives it, in that sense, or who makes it, because there's one photographer that might like really put a lot of more effort and heart into what they do, and then there's one that's just like click
I feel like
autofocus, auto aperture, and
a lot of people are like that nowadays, because we got little phones that we can just take a picture. Like, phone, it doubles as like, it's a dictionary, it's a computer, it's a camera, it's a calculator, it's everything we'd ever need in our pocket.
Yeah, and
And
so like since digital, see, I went to photography school in the darkroom ages.
yeah,
And so we had to
told me
do a
about that.
lot more time and effort to make a photograph.
Nowadays you can
And
just
nowadays, like these iPhones take pretty good pictures.
yeah. Did you see? There's like ads all over about the one thing. It's like the Google made a phone, and it's supposed to like
Yeah.
delete images. Like I mean, delete parts of your photo. Like how is
Mm-hmm.
that even possible? How do you know what's behind the person? Like if you can delete a person that's standing off to the side, that's kind of like a distraction. Apparently, how do you know what's standing behind them? That's crazy.
Well,
Like I don't know how to
they
do
have
that.
Photoshop starting to do that.
I
You
know,
do that
yeah.
more manually with Photoshop, and now it's kind of like more the AI doing it now. They can
Uh-huh.
like erase, and we call it the clone stamping, and it just takes a portion of the photo next to it and fills it in
Yeah.
so it blocks the people in the background that you don't want there. So yeah, it's getting better and better, and it's getting more just questionable and gray area, and it's like, okay, is this even becoming art anymore now that we're doing it without even thinking?
Yeah, and I know
Like a
like
great photo is not that useful
so
now.
I think that I feel like the it can be like the AI thing. It can be like sort of harmless if you're just like playing around with it and you don't like actually consider it art. Like I don't consider it art. Sometimes my like dad has it on his phone. I sort of play around with it sometime. Like I did the thing where I forget what the app's called, but you just like you type in something and it generates an image based on what you typed in. I typed in monkey piranhas and it was actually kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
Like honestly,
Yeah, so I want to talk about
It's
that.
not art.
Was that Midjourney, the software Midjourney?
No, it was something else.
Midjourney or something else, whatever it is you're talking about. What they do is they take images and they do look really good. Like there was one that took they put in an anatomical version of a birthday cake, and so it looks like something out of a medical textbook but in the shape of a cake. Like the AI just generated that image, but how they're getting that is they took images from non-consensual data that they gathered from the artist, and there's this trained AI called Leon 5B, which is a data set used to train other AI models like Stable Diffusion and Google Imagen.
So it's like an AI teacher, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, and so
That teaches other
that like gathers all the information and pixels from what it thinks is useful, and it's just harvesting other people's work to create this, like, excuse my French again, but bastardized picture of something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I like that choice of your word, like harvest. Like that's essentially what it's doing. Like in the sense, like it's just like there's yeah.
It's taking something else that somebody
taking-
else grew.
It's like something else grew. Like there's some sort of like phrase, I think, that you reap what you sow, or something. This isn't following that rule. It's reaping what other people sow.
Right.
It's a thief, basically.
Right. Yeah, so I think our consensus is we're on the same page, Levi, about
Yeah.
how we don't like this and we don't like where it's heading
Yeah.
for humanity if we continue this. And I really hope that there's a class action lawsuit, because there should be.
I wonder how many people in the world would agree with you and how many people that wouldn't agree with you.
I don't know.
I agree with you. I don't think it's an art. It's just kind of
I think
stupid.
most people that partook in it didn't think about the consequences that this could reap.
They probably didn't know about they probably didn't know like how it works. They didn't know like it just
Right.
takes from other people things.
They
They
just
just
think
thought it
it-
was like magic. Yay.
Well, they probably think it just looks cool. And,
Yeah.
that's fine. I understand. We're doing this podcast not to make people feel bad. I'm not trying to shame people, because I have some friends that
have used
partook
it.
in it. Yeah. And I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings when I speak out about this, but I want to just like educate people on the problems this is posing, because I think that they really did it just out of good intentions. Like, this
Yeah.
is fun,
Yeah.
look at how cool this is. And the images
it
some
is
of them look
cool, yeah.
cool, but they're not manufactured in a good way. and there's some ethical concerns with it. So
Yeah.
I think the more we talk about this, the better.
Yeah, I agree. Also, if you're mad at my mom, don't be mad at me. Because I am afraid of you adults out there.
All right, honey. Do you have anything else to say?
I'm hungry. Yeah.
Okay, let's bring on your brother and see what he has to say.
Yeah, okay. Bye, guys.
Okay, we're back here with Asher. He is my 11-year-old son. He just turned 11. And I'd want to hear your opinion, Asher. What do you think about this AI art?
I think it's gonna be the thing that will destroy us all in the end.
Really? Why is that?
Because they're like they're much more powerful than we are. And if they wanted to, they could do it any second. And they have a mind of their own. Like a robot that has a program, okay, I guess that's not too bad. But like one that has a mind of its own, that's I don't like it.
Right, like it's what it's doing is every time somebody uploads a photo to generate its images, that they scrape other pixels from other images online, and they're training the AI. The more we interact with these programs, the more interaction, the more uploads, it's just learning, soaking up all the information like a sponge. And this tolerance of this type of manufacturing is dangerous. Like, I think what you said is it's giving way for people just placation with the idea that there's another job taken away by the robots. You know, we've had the cashiers at the grocery store, people losing their job over that. And what else is taken over by robots? There's a lot.
I heard there are robots writing books.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I thought I heard a rumor at school about that.
Well, I believe it. I've seen programs where they write songs like lyrics, and yeah, they can probably write songs too the same way. And I just like picture a future where we're like listening to the radio with like these fake songs produced by robots, like AI music, the new pop trend, or any genre really. It could do any genre, and then people, you know, we're just getting slowly more used to it. What it happens to us on a spiritual level, do you think? On a level where we want to like get up and do the jobs that we usually do if everybody's paying attention to the robots?
No. Plus, if the robots take over, we wouldn't even have to do that. And then when the robot apocalypse comes, we won't be able to do anything.
Is there
the
any?
Robots are getting used because the robots are doing everything.
Yeah, we've talked about this in the first episode you guys did. The one it was in the first season, listening to the future. So we talk about this. Is there anything that you could think of that can stop this from happening, like the robot apocalypse? Like, do you think if we were able to sue and shut these programs down that are stealing from artists, that we could change the trajectory of mankind and not have a robot apocalypse?
I think there should be like a big button that like whenever like if you press the button it shuts down every single AI unit.
Oh, yeah, you talked about like a lever, like a way to shut them all down. I think that we talked about that, but we'd have to lose all technology.
And I also think we shouldn't give them weapons.
Oh, yeah.
Like battle droids from
we do
Star Wars. I don't want that happening.
I think that is happening. I think there's, drones that run ships and like for the Air Force. I'm pretty sure there's pilotless airplanes. I think that we have a good control on that, but
that might mean that like war in the future is basically gonna be bot battles.
or now. I mean, I think that war right now is not like hand-to-hand combat like we would have seen, 100 years ago, 50 years ago. It's that kind of war is as immature as an idea as a duel. I think right now we're seeing war in many different other ways, technologically, mainly with the. I don't know how. I think we still have some control over the robots, and I hope that we can maintain that control. But the more and more we play around with AI, and I always thought, okay, I can see AI taking over these like just hard labor, things that end up people just really don't want to do anymore, and you can program a robot and create a robot to do that.
Yeah, we do that in robotics.
Yeah, you guys do. You just had a robotics tournament. And how did you get the robot to do things and make things happen that you wanted?
We coded it with a computer
That you created.
Yeah, it wasn't like it didn't have a mind of its own or anything.
Right.
I'm fine with robots. I'd be fine with them if they didn't have a mind of their own.
Yeah.
If they like stuck to a program.
Yeah. Well, I am just so glad that you're here to share your opinion, because I definitely agree. I really hope that we can maintain control of these robots, and maybe there's going to be jobs created for people that need to do that, and maybe you're going to have one of those professions.
No, I want to have a video game company.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, whatever you do, I wish you much success, and more so than the robots. And for those listening, I wish you much success, and that just think about these changes that we're seeing and how it's affecting artists. I was about to say it. I never would have thought that robots would actually take the place of an artist, and there's arguments still saying they never will. So we'll see, but I am going to admit this is a little scary, and I think that it's the type of fear that's healthy, because I want to fight like HE double hockey sticks to stop that from manifesting that dark future that we're speaking of. And I hope that this conversation has helped you want to do that too.
I hope that a robot doesn't rip out your guys' liver.
Yes, that would be a good thing if they didn't do that. And until then, we will talk to you again later. Signing off. Have a good week.
Don't let them eat you.